How do mushrooms in your yard relate to tar spot? Stay tuned for another episode of High Yield Answers, where we're going to talk a little bit about that. Hi, I'm Josh Meyer with Yield Tech Seed Service, back with another episode of High Yield Answers. So how do mushrooms in your yard relate to tar spot? Well, mushrooms are a fungus, much like tar spot, and the conditions that we've had here in the last month of June and even here into July, where we're having humid mornings and lots of rain and dewy mornings, those contribute to fungal growth. So if you're seeing mushrooms in your yard in July, that's kind of an indication that conditions in the environment for tar spot to also be there is there. And we've heard that tar spot has now showed up at least 4 counties in Indiana. I just heard that they found it in Auglaize County in Ohio. So as we think about that and the conditions as we look forward at the weather forecast, maybe being a little cooler than they have been, conditions are going to favor tar spot development in our corn. So what we wanted to do today is talk a little bit about a plan for how we're going to manage that, and also talk about last year. We did some field observations on a couple fields of 21111 that were located about 2 miles apart, same hybrid. We found tar spot in the one field, pretty bad and pretty advanced, and then in the other field, not so much. And the grower was getting ready to spray fungicide on a second passive fungicide on those fields. So we thought it'd be a good opportunity to track the progression of tar spot after a second application of fungicide and see, was that able to slow down the progression in that plant. So we flagged and marked out multiple plants in each field, and then every 4 to 5 days we would go out and take a picture of that ear leaf and see, is that second application able to slow the progression of tar spot. And what you'll see in these pictures here is that in the field where tar spot was already pretty advanced, the plant went from green, or those leaves went from green to dead in a matter of just 2 weeks, and really shut down that plant, and we believe shorten that grain fill period. Whereas in this other field, you'll see where tar spot was not as present, it didn't progress nearly as much, and at the end of 2 weeks, those leaves were still green and showing some life. So what does that mean? We believe that prevention is a key to getting ahead of tar spot. So if you look at fungicides today, multiple modes of action, a lot of the value in those fungicides is in the preventative mode. So your SDHIs and your strobins are primarily preventative. So they're not going to have a lot of curative properties, where your DHIs are going to be more curative. So if we're spraying a 3-mode fungicide, it makes sense to try and move that up to where we can take advantage of the preventative properties. So that's why we're recommending, as we look at the forecast and what the next couple weeks looks like, we want to get out ahead of tar spot if the conditions are going to be favorable for that, and spray your fungicide earlier than maybe you would have normally. So we would like to see you spray at tassel or just a little bit before that. So you buy yourself some time, you get ahead of that disease, because it's going to be in the lower canopy this time of year. As you look at it overwinters in the soil, and it's going to, as we get moisture, those pustules are going to burst, and it's going to send spores up into the lower canopy. So as you're scouting right now, you want to look at the lower leaves, and here's an example in this picture here of what you might find right now. And this is a little bit earlier than what the growth stage of our corn is right now, but you can see what that looks like as it's first getting started. But it's gonna, those spores are gonna explode and move up through the canopy as the season goes on. So we're just encouraging you to get out ahead of tar spot this year, spray early, then from that point forward, scout your fields, see if that disease is progressing, and if it is, maybe a second pass is going to be warranted. But as you think about how you are going to manage tar spot on your farm this year, certainly give us a call if you have any questions, or leave a question in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.